Chapter 37. The bus drove down the motorway, running smoothly on its pathway to Brisbane. The overhead lights were out, curtains drawn, and passengers slumped, sleeping horizontally in their seats, underneath blankets or coats or layers of jumpers. Some slept leaning on each other, others slept leaning on their windows or the chair in front, heads rocking gently. And there was snoring. Somewhere, lots of snoring.
"Andros,"
Debs whispered.
"are you sleeping?"
She had sat to study her panto script. She turned, looking over her shoulder. "No," he said. "Are you?"
"Shh,"
she giggled.
"You're being silly."
"I've got an appetite," he said, "but all I can smell is that snoring man's chicken." They giggled, then shushed each other.
"It's making me nauseous," she said. "I'm a vegetarian."
She reached into her handbag and took a sandwich wrapped in paper and handed it to him through a gap between their seats.
"Here," she said. "Take this."
"What is it?" he asked.
"Swiss cheese on white," she said. "My mum makes them for me. She worries I don't eat enough."
"That's nice," he said. "She sounds nice."
"Eat the sandwich, Andros."
"I am doing," he laughed, and their giggles attracted grumbles from the passengers.
"Shh,"
she said.
"They're on to us."
He stayed, lay across the seats, and said nothing.
"Andros."
"Yes?"
"Do you have plans over Christmas?"
"No," he said. "Nothing." He spoke with bread in his mouth. "I've planned nothing."
"But it's Christmas."
She poured a cup of something from a flask, something hot and steamy.
"Here,"
she said.
"take it."
She watched him through the gap. "What is it?"
"Hot tea with sugar," she said. "You drink it."
He giggled, and she watched him spill tea over his sweater.
"Visit me in Brisbane," she added. "I'll get you a panto ticket."
"Sure," he said. "Will you prepare more sandwiches?"
"Yes," she laughed. "I'll make more sandwiches. Is the 20th good?"
"No," he said. "I'll be in Gatton." He drank his cup and finished his sandwich with a warm, comfortable feeling running through him. And turning slowly, he closed his eyes. "Let's do Christmas Eve," he said. "That'll be nice."
"Oh, no, it won't,"
she laughed. She jumped up, looking over her seat at him on her knees, like before, her feet dancing, her big green eyes gleaming at him.
"I said, oh, no, it won't,"
she yelled in her panto voice. Grumbles from passengers began again. "I can't take any more," someone said.
"What about the snoring fat man?"
said another. A passenger then staggered into the aisle, leaning on people's seats, pointing towards the back of the bus with his beer can, mumbling in the darkness.
"What's he doing up?" a voice said. "What's the point in him?"
The bald man sat rubbing his eyes. He too got up and stood behind the driver.
"Can you believe this?" he said. "I'll remember this journey for a long time, pal."
More passengers awoke, poking their heads into the aisle. The driver ordered the bald man back to his seat. The fat man got up, reaching for chicken.
"Billy the snoring bulldog is awake,"
someone cheered, and there were hoorays and clapping and laughter, and a lone voice saying he couldn't take any more. Oblivious to the excitement she'd created, Debs leaned on her window, now with a pencil and notebook, scribbling the address of the theatre, adding her contact number, smiling, talking, giggling.
"The panto will be great," she said. "I know it will."
She paused, looking over her note.
"We can eat afterwards. We can go for Korean food."
There was no reply, as she kept talking while Anders lay still and silent with an empty cup on his belly, his chest moving up and down, his breath slow and peaceful.
"You'll have to ignore my Uncle Lance, though," she said, still writing. "He's a police officer and a royal arsehole."
She folded her note.
"But he's my stepdad's brother, you see, and they always watch the show."
The end.